Where to take family photos. So you want to take family photos, and the first thing that comes to mind is matching outfits, holding hands, and walking down the beach or through the park together. Well, not only is that really boring for photographers, but frankly, you deserve better than that. Hello, my name is Mike Lloyd. I'm a professional photographer in Silicon Valley, California, and I have photographed a lot of people over the last 12 years, and I refuse to do the boring stock photo look. So what do I mean by that? If you walk through the framing department of any art store where they have all the picture frames, and your family photos look like the generic sample photos they have in the frames, you got cheated out of an incredible experience because your photos can be so much cooler than that. Those are like the stock photo white bread version of what your family photos could be. So this video is all about choosing a really cool place that fits your family for cool photos. So I'm going to give you 3 suggestions on how to pick the ideal family portrait location. Choosing somewhere that's special to your family, shooting in the studio, or heading to the city. Again, everyone thinks of parks and beaches because, you know, it's nature, it is timeless. Fall is like the most popular time of year for photos because the beautiful colors of the leaves, everyone's in comfy sweaters and looking nice, but it's also very seasonal. You know, same thing with wintertime photos. Like when you look at that photo in May and June, it doesn't feel cohesive because the photos aren't as timeless. They are tied to a season. If you only want them for a holiday card, cool. But there are other options for wall art when it comes to hanging it up in your home or whatever you decide to do with your family photos. So I like to choose a location special to my clients. So I did an engagement shoot a couple of years ago, and they used to go on dates all the time into these 2 neighborhoods in San Francisco. And then he proposed to her out on one of the piers. So we went back to those neighborhoods. We brought their skateboards because they used to go skateboarding together in that area. And we got really cool shots of them, you know, posing, kissing with their skateboards, riding together, her on the board, he's pulling her along with his hands like they were, you know, running together, just having fun in that area doing what they were doing. So much more exciting than sitting on a park bench together or holding hands walking through the lawn. Then we went down to the pier and then shot some cool shots of them walking on the pier and looking over the edge toward the water and the city skyline in the background. And we told their story so much more powerfully than just jeans and white t-shirts holding hands walking on the beach. Now, if your family regularly walks together on the beach holding hands wearing jeans and white t-shirts, cool, that's great, let's do it. But otherwise, there are so many better ways to show what makes your family special and unique and as a cohesive family unit than just dressing like clones. Okay, number 2, heading into the studio. Firstly, not every photographer will do studio family session. And also, it doesn't have to look like JCPenney portraits or picture people. You can get really, really cool family portraits done in the studio. So when you head into the studio, it's cool because you can get different looks. You can get a more bright and airy look. You can get kind of a dark and moody, more dramatic look. You can change the colors of your backgrounds. And when you have a more neutral photo background, it adds texture to the image for one, it can add depth to the image, but also it keeps the focus on you and your family as opposed to the scene and the background. Now, I prefer the outdoor look because I want the scene to be a part of the story. Because again, I'm a storyteller. That's what I do. And you can certainly do it in the studio. And there are a lot of ways that you can do that. I prefer the outside photos, but I prefer the outdoor photos. Anywho, back to the studio chat. There is a ton of different ways a photographer can create amazing photos in a studio that don't just look like the picture people, generic, you know, 90s glamour shots. So do some research on Google. I've got a video I'll link down below on how to find a photographer near you so that you can start screening them and find the perfect one who does a look and style that you are resonating with. And one of the things that I always recommend when choosing your photographer, when you look at their work, can you see yourself in it? Not do you like their work? Do you think their style is neat? Can you see yourself in those photos? So if you're looking through photographers looking for studio work, they're probably all going to be talented, hopefully. But when you get one, you're like, that's totally us. We could do that. That is how you know you found someone whose style really resonates with you. All right, number 3, my favorite, heading into the city. The city is great because there's a lot of different terrain that we can pose with. And maybe you're not in a big city like New York or San Francisco or LA. Cool, head downtown, because walking down the middle of the street is a really cool dramatic thing that you can do. Sitting on benches out in front of your favorite storefronts or shops, or is there a restaurant that you love to go to for birthdays every year? Maybe, sitting out on the patio, or you're all standing out in front of that place. There are a ton of ways that you can incorporate the city into the photos. Also, a lot of staircases, different size planters and ledges, great for posing families for a more dynamic effect than just standing side by side, holding hands, posing, whatever you're doing. We can stagger people on the stairs or ledges or whatever it may be. You can get really cool dynamic photos. Fountains are great. There might be cool murals in your town, old buildings, historical sites, famous landmarks. There's a ton of different ways that we can use your city or town to really enhance the photo and tell your story that is not just, again, holding hands walking down the beach in the same outfits. So this video is short and sweet because I just wanted to give you some other examples of ways to take your family portraits without just choosing the park or the beach. Maybe you've got really cool parks near you. Maybe you've got a gorgeous beach near you. Time it for sunset or sunrise. Get out there in the tide pools, the waves crashing around you. There's ways you can do really exciting photos. And if you're like, Mike, I just want all of us to sit down on a park bench and look at the camera, go ahead and do that. I totally support you. I just want you to know that you have more options. And also, you can look for photographers who do these other things. So it doesn't just have to be the same shoot every year over and over and over again. So if you, again, want to know how to find a photographer, I got a video for you to check out about how to find a local photographer and how to make sure they're the right fit for you. Got another video on that. Be sure to check that one out as well and subscribe so you don't miss any of the future videos to help you find the perfect photographer for you. You are amazing. We'll see you inside.